Thank you very much, Shibby. Guys, we're back here at the MLG Winter Championships for Oz versus Parting. Some PvP action with two of the best and most rising stars right now when it comes to Protoss play.
That's right. They are so sick. Just take a look at those PvP win-loss ratios.
Yeah, man.
What?
It's good, 68 and 70%. Now, we both know this is going to be a good game. Let's see what DJ Wheat and Day 9 have to say about this. Guys, how do you think this is going to go?
I mean, it is just hard to tell based upon any sort of percentages, looking at their history. I mean, Oz is known for his brutal PvP. I mean, winning so many important matches in GSL. A lot of people consider him, if they had to pick one matchup for Oz to be the best, PvP is really it. MC known for his PvT, Liquid Hero known for his PvZ, and Oz known for just crushing so many Protosses. I mean, look at the difference in those win rates.
That is indeed.
I mean, you can be a master of the, of a particular racial matchup, and in this case, I think we actually have two guys that are just exceptionally good at Protoss versus Protoss, which, in my opinion, is usually yielding some really, really good games. I mean, as of recently, I've always said, Protoss versus Protoss, it's reminds me of the days of the Viking siege tank wars that we'd see in TVT. But I mean, lately, so much development, players willing to take a few extra risks, cutting different corners, trying different things on the outset of their build. I mean, Parting's been impressive over time, but Oz equally impressive. They should give us a phenomenal game.
I mean, if you look at Parting, I just want to note again, if there is one matchup that he's looking very good at, it is that versus Terran matchup where he has those extremely refined triple command center builds. And if I had to pick one strength for Parting, it would be his overall refinement of his builds. I think in the early game, we're probably going to see Parting come out ahead if there's no engagements, but Oz has superior decision-making in-game and superior control.
All right, guys, looks like both these players are ready to get this started. Our first map is going to be MLG Entombed Valley, and it has begun here as we head into what should be an incredible PvP here between Oz and Parting.
Oh, man, this is going to get so sick. There was always so many times when people were like, I don't know how I feel about PvP, and I'm like, be quiet. I love this.
You feel pretty passionate about that, Rob. All right. Tell me who's over here in the top right-hand corner.
Oh, well, let's talk about it. Up in the top right-hand corner, representing FX Open, we've got Oz. And on the other side of the map, hailing from Team Startail, let's hear it for Parting.
Now, something that's very interesting about these two players, Oz ended up getting 4th from the MLG Winter Arena, Parting 5th/6th. So these guys are very, very good. Obviously, the Winter Arena was probably one of the most competitive tournaments that we've seen so far, and now we get to see them fight head-to-head here. I like being the caster, just making people, moving chess pieces, watching these epic battles. I've got the best job in the world, man.
You most certainly do, JP. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Well, you have the same job too, man.
I mean, we won't talk about that now.
I guess not. I guess not. All right, so you said PvP is one of your most favorite matchups to cast and watch. Why?
Mainly because, well, I mean, I guess it just comes down to mirror matchups in general, but particularly PvP had such a hard time breaking out, and there's recently just been so many developments in the matchup that's just thrown so many wrenches in players' gears, and it's pretty much exciting all the time.
Yeah, and this is one of the matchups that it was just 4-gate, 4-gate, 4-gate for so long there, and now it's some games it can just be like, well, this player just won't die. You can put so much aggressive play against your opponent, and it can just turtle for so long. So we'll really have to see here what both players go. The common build is, of course, going for those Blink Stalkers, but you can have some crazy, crazy openings going for that the 3-gate, 3 Stalker push very early on, getting the 2nd gate when the Cybernetics core is about halfway built. Getting a 3rd Stalker out, you can get your opponent off guard very, very easily and get a very huge lead very early on in the game.
That's right, and here we have both of the players landing down that Cybernetics core. We see that Parting is just marginally ahead. Wow, and we actually see a 2nd gas being added on for Oz.
Yeah, and here is that gateway about halfway on that core, so going to be seeing that 3 Stalker opening from Parting. And you mentioned that 2nd gas. We'll have to see if that is going to lend itself to some early tech coming from Oz.
Yeah, now Parting, on the other hand, has also added on a 2nd gas, so maybe they're both going for sneaky things.
We'll see here soon if sneaky things are afoot on Entomb Valley between Oz and his opponent Parting. Now, see right here that the probe of Parting is just scouting around, making sure there's no outlying pylons or anything like that. Meanwhile, if we go into Parting's base, did the probe actually leave or did he not even scout? No, he hasn't even scouted yet. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, on both sides, they've laid down a second gateway, and they are both going for that 3-stalker push that is just oh so nice. We've got Parting adding on his second stalker right now, waiting for just a little more minerals, and there it goes. And over here, obviously, Oz doing the same thing.
Now, one thing about this map is just it is one of the bigger or / biggest maps in the map pool. So we will see here both players very, very even right now in the probe count, 23 to 22.
We actually saw Oz was just pulling a little bit ahead, but clearly he is staying in there. And now Oz going for something really interesting, throwing down a forward pylon right in front of Parting's base. Although his probe was taken down, will he send a second to back it up? No, we only see more stalkers coming in.
That is so smart what Oz was doing there. He's basically keeping his opponent in his base because if he doesn't kill that, he could just warp in units behind it. So because of that, Parting was not able to move out here. Oz is going to have to fall back, but great stuff. Great, very small things here in the very opening of this match.
And now as we see a divergence in strategies, Parting has just begun his robo facility.
And it looks like actually Oz is going to throw down a Nexus here. So, wow, some very, very awesome stuff here. But there's also a pylon down here from Parting, and he's going to have to be, Oz is going to have to be careful. He's moving forward there with the Stalkers. 2 Force Fields going down, and we see right now 4 Stalkers compared to the 2 Sentries and 2 Stalkers of Oz. He's got to be careful, though. Those Stalkers are getting very, very low. And, he's going to take down that probe and possibly put some hurt on this Nexus.
Now, he could actually just potentially deny this Nexus. It's at least going to force Oz into warping in more units to try to defend this. And he has 2 Stalkers that are really only 1 volley away from being destroyed. So they're almost not going to be able to fight that much. And now, as Oz moves in for the Maynard, that's going to be when he's going to come out here and strike. And this is his window of opportunity to finish off all of Parting's Stalkers.
Yeah, so smart there from Oz, using the probes to get behind the Stalkers. He's easily going to be able to clean that up. Well, now he's got 2 Stalkers left. Oh, there's the surround. And 2 more Stalkers now joining this fight. But it looks like Oz is going to keep his expansion and take the economic lead.
Man, and Oz not only has the expansion, but also has a supply lead as well. And if Parting doesn't make something happen soon, this deal is already sealed.
Well, a lot of Protosses, to make something happen, you got to get down there at Robotics Bay and get that Colossus out. So if you can get 2 or 3 Colossus out and really go for an attack there, that's going to be when it's going to be the best timing to hit Oz. But he's got to be careful because with this expansion, you just have simply more stuff.
I don't know how much that 1 base Colossus is going to be able to live against the Immortals that we see Oz now getting into play. He also has an expansion up, as you mentioned, so, I mean, the longer that this goes on, the further the Parting is going to fall behind.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a bad position for Parting to be in. He might even skip the Colossus range, to be honest. We'll have to see here in just a couple seconds. He's pulled a lot of probes.
This is interesting. I guess that they're going to be minus. It's actually, I believe, because I think his main is slightly oversaturated. He's got 29 probes, so knowing that they just aren't making full use of themselves, he's sending them out there to get just a small edge.
Well, that is definitely interesting indeed. Here is a forward pylon coming down for Oz. He does not have an observer out, so he won't be able to warp in just yet, but he will be able to warp in if he can get inside that base. Oh, some Force Fields going down, earning him a Stalker kill. This 1 Immortal is going to do so much damage to the Stalkers of Parting, but he's very, very Zealot heavy right now with this Colossus. Can obviously break those Force Fields, and here we go, Rob.
Oh man, some very money Force Fields laid down, and we have the Zealots trying to chase Oz, adding yet another Force Field onto Parting's little wall there and using it to block his way around. And now we see just a little bit of micro, and there is a proxy pylon up there. He hasn't made any use of it in the base quite yet. He's getting vision across the hill. Is he going to do something up in the main?
Well, he's going to have to wait for his warp gate time, and here we go. Some Zealots being warped in. Such smart play for Oz. He baited this entire army for Parting all the way across the map, and now he's going to have to deal with Zealots in his main. 2 Zealots were warped in, though. the same time, this one Colossus is definitely helping him out over here at the natural.
Right now, Oz actually just has so many units ready out at his natural. He just needs to build enough things to stop this army, and he'll be in a fantastic position. That expansion has stayed up. He has continued with his probe production and is now at 42 to 29 workers.
And when will it be go time? Looks like he's going to wait for maybe 1 or 2 more warpins or for this forward pawn to finish. But here he goes. The force field's being dropped and right next to his army actually. Or no, excuse me, those were Parting's force fields there. And right now we see the Colossus just dealing so much damage that Immortal is getting very close to dying. But oh no, the Colossus is going to be focused down and it will fall here. And now with those 2 Immortals, Oz is going to be dealing so much damage to Parting. Good game. Oz taking game 1.
Wow, and he just got so many Immortals out there. It was so crucial that he was able to get up and defend that natural, using the probes to help fight off the Stalkers, even though he was outnumbered, and his Stalkers were damaged, were so crucial. Sean, you love PvP. What happened in that match, man? What'd you think about it?
I mean, it was honestly one of those situations where Parting had an opening that kind of should have worked according to the book. But that's what happens when you get a high-level player like Oz in the mix. He knows exactly how many probes to bring, when to bring those probes down, and that forced Parting's hand. Parting pretty much had to do some sort of big aggressive play to break the expansion since he had lost so much trying to kill it the first go-around.
I can't disagree.
Boom.
Boom.
Done.
The flam.
Seal it.
Back to you, JP and Rob.
Thank you very much, day 9 and week. Guys, we've got to go to a quick commercial break, and we will be back with Game 2 on MLG Antigua Shipyard. I'm JP McDaniel.
And I'm Rob Simpson. Stay tuned for more MLG Winter Championship when we get back.